Hello everyone, so it's the 1st of August, and even though I'm not going to start with the prompts for HRCYED right away, because I'm still reading Silverborn, I'm about 100 something pages in, I do want to talk about the prompts that I'm going to be doing. So the first prompt that I'm going to try to tackle in this challenge is a big one, and it's the TBR game. And the game I'm playing is the Shelby-Scroppit situation that Becca and the Books has going on. And if you have not checked that, go check it because it's amazing. So how this works is she normally takes how many books she holds previous month, and then she tries to read that number of books from her stacks that are like just piles of books in the floor. With a random number generator normally. She has something blogs, but overall it usually is a random number generator. And maybe this is not a good idea because I did get a lot of books last month. So first we will go through the ones that I have read. These 3 came last month. I ordered the whole Nevermore series at the end of June, and some of them came in June, and these 2 came in July. It's the first one and the third one. I have read them, so yeah. And the other one that I also got last month and read is All System Red by Martha Wells. Unfortunately I did not like this as much as I wanted to, but I read it, so there you go. Those are 3, and then these ones are the ones that I haven't read yet. So the first one is Private Rights by Julia Armfield. I got this in a bookish retreat that I had with my book club, and we decided to all get a book, and this is the one we got. And in that same trip I also bought It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over by Anne McCren, which I immediately after water damage a bit with water wipes that I had in my bag, unfortunately, but it's okay. Like, it's not too bad, it's just the cover is a bit looking a bit okay. Then I bought Her Lamp by Banu Muscat, which won the International Booker this year, and I put it in my wish list when the winner was announced, and I bought it because that made shipping cheaper, so there you go. I also bought Rivers of London by Ben Arnovich, which is the book club pick for this month for my book club, so I had to get it. And the next 2 are for a couple of prompts that I want to do for this challenge, HRCYED. So the first one is Call Me Ismail by Charlotte Gould, which is a feminist retelling of Moby Dick, which I'm very, very excited about. And the last one is The Will of the Many by James S. Elselton. Everyone has been raving about this book all the time, and I want to read it, so I bought it. And the sequel is coming out in November, and I thought that if I like this I can use that book for the November release. So if you have been counting, those are 9 books, so I have to read 9 books from a random number generator, and I will show you my TBR so that you have an idea of what we're playing with. So welcome to my TBR shelf. This is my TBR shelf. This is just a box, just by the way, and there are 2 differences that I'm going to implement compared to what Becca normally does. The first one is that I'm going to include library books, because these are books that I want to read this month, but also because otherwise I would only have 9 books in my TBR, and then it's no fun to read 9 books and then have 9 books in the pool of choices. And the other difference that I'm going to make is that she normally doesn't add any new books in the month. So she always adds her whole books in between episodes, and I am going to add the books that come as they come, because again, that increases the pool, so it makes it more fun. But also some of the books that are coming are also book club books for this month, and so I want to read them, and having them here increases the chances that I'm gonna read them for this challenge as well. I should have about 5 or 6 books coming throughout the month. I think one of them is supposed to come at the beginning of August, and the other ones are going to come probably around mid-August. So I will add them when they come. But yeah, this is the TBR. In terms of what I want to come up, I would love for Rivers of London to come up because it's my book club book for August. And I also have these two library books that of course I would like them to come up because they're from the library and I should return them, but this one is also my Passwordathon challenge book for August, and this one is when we talk about the second prompt that I'm going to attempt this month, and that would be, so this one I picked up because that because I am doing the HRCYED2 favorite prompt square on the board, and that would be to for me I chose to read a book and do a recipe of the book, and this is the book I chose. I have flickered through it and it doesn't have like recipes per se, but it is supposed to be a lot about food. I chose this one because I saw it someone used this one in HRCYED2, so I assume that there will be something that I can do with this, and even if there is no exact recipes, I can, if they talk about the recipe and how to make it a lot, I can look up the exact process of making it and then just make it. That is my plan. So that is the one that I would count for the second prompt, and that would only be one book, which would be good. The other option, depending on how kind or unkind this TBR game is to us, is Trails of the Emerald Sea, which is one of the books that is on its way to me, and that will cover the third square on the Q's favorite recommendations prompt, and so that would be that one done. Depending on how this goes, it could be that we cover both, or it could be that we cover none of them in this TBR challenge. I'm hoping at least one of them. Hopefully this one I would prefer, first because it's from the library, but also because I think I will have more time in August to make the recipe than I would in September. I'm traveling in September, so yeah, ideally this will happen this month. And things that I would not like to come up, I think this one counts for many prompts, and so it will be better if it comes up some other time so that I can use it for the other prompts that I can use it for, and the same with Atstuparia. Although, so this one I'm planning to use for the fire prompt of become the avatar, and I know that Gabriela Wiener is in a polyamorous relationship, but from what I have heard from this book, there's no polyamory in the book, so I don't think I will want to count it for that prompt. But there's still some other prompts that I will count it for, like Heritage Month and stuff like that. So it's not super pressing for these ones to not come up, but yeah, it will be nice if those I can use for other prompts. And then we have The Final Empire by Brendan Sanderson and The Will of the Many here. And those are both very big books, so I would prefer if not both of them come up in this game. But with that said, I mean, nothing is like, I would be really upset if it comes up, because these are all books that I want to read. So with that said, let's just see what comes up first. I have my random number generator here from 1 to 11, and let's see. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Saved. It was almost The Final Empire, but it is Sister-in-Law by Harriet Winstridge, which I'm very happy about. This is a non-fiction about women that fought against laws against women, basically. It was in a Women's Prize for non-fiction, and it was the one that I was the most excited about, and then there was a debacle about pre-order delivery stuff, and so I only got these like a month or two ago, and I haven't had the opportunity to read it yet, but I am very excited for it. So yes, it is a good start. Hello everyone, so it is Tuesday morning, and I wanted to update you because I am halfway through Sister-in-Law by Harriet Winstridge. It has been a few days. I've been slowly reading this and I have to do it slowly because it's very good, but it's also horrible because it's about the different ways in which people, and women especially, have been failed by the law, and how the law is written and how the law is interpreted. So we have lots of each chapter is a case, and we have mostly cases of rape and how women have not been taken seriously. There was one chapter about this girl that she was so mistreated from the time she was 12. She started to prostitute herself when she was 12. And by the age of 17, she was living with this guy. That was her pimp, essentially. And he also, every once in a while, brought friends and family to gang rape her and stuff like that. And she still thought that he was in love with her and they had a relationship. But at some point, she was like so desperate that she ended up killing him. And she was charged with murder. And they had to like argue the way out of that case for her, and the law normally puts extenuating circumstances when someone does that out of like rage of the moment, but it's a lot more difficult to argue that was because of the accumulative desperation and fear of so many years living like this, which a lot of women living with domestic violence do. And so at the end they won, but it was like really difficult to argue that case, and people instead thought, oh, she's a prostitute, so she kind of doesn't have the right to complain if these things happen to her, sort of. Yeah. And then there was one line in the last case, which was again about another woman that was raped, and they said when she comes forward with that information to the police, she loses her lifelong right to anonymity. She loses the protection in place to prevent cross-examination on her past sexual history. She loses the right not to be directly cross-examined by the alleged rapist. The jury, moreover, will not be given the guidance on rape myths and stereotypes. So that's kind of, so far, a lot of the point of this book, how women have been crossed by law in a lot of horrible ways. So it is very good. It is also written in a very good, like the language and the narrative style is good. But yeah, the cases are horrible. So I need to read it a little bit more slowly because it's heavy. It's heavy, let's say. I see why it made it to the long list because it's really good, but I also see why it didn't make it to the shortlist of the Women's Prize for Nonfiction, because it is probably too heavy and a little bit not for everybody. Another thing to say, by the way, I thought this was in the US for some reason. It's based in the UK. Mostly this woman works in the UK as a lawyer. She saw some of these cases and was involved in another capacity and decided that she wanted to study law to be able to be in this side of the victims and fight for them, which is really cool. But yeah, so I'm reading that. As I said, it's Tuesday, and today my parents are coming to visit. They're going to stay for a few days and just visit us and spend time with us. They're arriving this afternoon, and I think they're staying until Saturday. I'll probably not be reading so much these next few days, but because they are coming, I'm not biking to work today. I'm going on public transport, so I will be able to read some more in the public transport. And yeah, I'll probably finish it maybe tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit busier the next few days, but it's also going to be nice. So I will update you when I finish the book, I think. Hello everyone, so it's Wednesday night and I just finished Sister-in-Law by Harriet Wistridge, and I think this is a very good, powerful book. It's very hard to read as well.
There are lots of horrible stories in this book. I have to say though, the second half, it was a little bit less, not necessarily less horrible, but it was a bit less personal. It was more about general loss than about um, one-to-one stories. I mean, there were some of those, but not all of it was that. But it is very important things to discuss on how laws are made with men in mind, and then especially disadvantaged women that are suffering from domestic violence and rapes and things like that, and not only they're not taken seriously when they come out with these claims, but also on things like asphyxiation was not considered a big crime unless it ended with death, and that's one of the techniques that many abusers use to intimidate their victims, to give them the signal, I can kill you whenever I want, but I'm going to let you leave now. And that was considered like it was not a big deal. Things like how treating sentences of people that kill in their own home with a kitchen knife, it's like would affect women that are abused, and that's normally how the desperation manifest if they kill their abuser. Just grab a knife from the kitchen and stab him before he does the same to her kind of energy, and how that, like, the consideration of that particular crime was thought that it might change, and how that if that change would have come to fruition, how that would have affected victims of domestic violence that ended up killing their husbands, things like that. Very interesting, very hard to read, but very powerful and interesting. And I think it's also written mostly in an approachable way. There are some terminology that I was not familiar with about the whole process of a judge making a decision, and like the appeals and all of that. So that was sometimes a little bit difficult to follow, but not to the point in which you didn't get the gist of what she was saying. So yeah, recommend. It's 9:30 at the moment, so I could start a new book, but honestly I am quite tired. We spent the day in Driflit, which is a amusement park in The Hague, and it was a lot of fun, but I'm tired, and also for various reasons I have had to do a lot of advocating for my family this week, which is also very emotionally taxing and very exhausting. So I think I'm just gonna go to bed and rest a little bit. Also, my husband is sleeping right now, so I don't have access to my shelves, and we cannot do the whole random generator thing to pick a new book there because he's sleeping there. So I think I'm going to join him, and I will pick a new book tomorrow. But one thing that we can do, as it is tradition in Becca and the Books videos, is to shelf this, and I think I know exactly where it's gonna go, and there's space, so that's fun. Okay, so I know this is very crooked, but these two are my non-fiction shelves. This one is mostly nature science writing, and this is more like social stuff, so it should go here. I think there is a nice space here, so that's where that is gonna go. Okay, so let's choose our second book. There are still 10 books here, so we're just going to generate from 1 to 10. And okay. 9. That's perfect. So the book that came out is Rivers of London by Bern Arnovich, and the reason why this is perfect is because this is my book club pick for this month. So
I needed to read this one anyway, and I'm very happy that the random number generator picked this for me. I understand this is like an urban fantasy mystery thriller situation, comedy as well, maybe. Yeah, I don't know too much about this, but I'm excited that this is something that I had to read anyway, so yay! Hello everyone, so it's currently Saturday evening. My parents left this afternoon, and I just have put Alex to sleep. It's around 7. She was really tired, and I wanted to update you because I'm on page 234 of Rivers of London. I'm liking this, but I'm not loving it. It's very quirky. It's kind of an urban fantasy, and we follow this guy Peter Grant, who is working for the police, and he just thinks it's a normal like police thing, and he's like in the point in which he has to be like upgraded to a unit. He was like on probation or something, and now he's going to be upgraded to a unit, and he's not the most talented, so he didn't have a lot of expectations, but then he ends up with this inspector who happens to know a lot of magic things going on in London, and he didn't know that magic was a real thing, so it's kind of him discovering all of the magic stuff going on in London and the like other world that lives within London. And at the same time they are kind of investigating a murder mystery situation. It seems that people lost control of themselves really easily. Like someone will be slightly annoyed at this shop owner and they will just start like violently attacking them, stuff like that. I don't know if that's supposed to be for a reason, or we have to assume that that's a normal thing. But yeah, that's kind of like what's happening, and the tone is not very serious, and it is a little bit male coded, but not too much that it's annoying. But yeah, I'm okay with it so far. I have about 150 pages left of this. I don't think I'll finish it today, but I don't think I will have a lot left for tomorrow. The font, I don't know if you can see, but the font is pretty big, so it reads really fast. So I think I'll probably finish it at some point tomorrow, which is good because when I started this vlog I wanted to roughly aim for 3 books a week so that I could be done in 3 weeks. Now this week it has been a little bit more intense than the other ones because my parents were here for the majority of it, and that is a time suck. But yeah, they're gone now, so I think I can enjoy this a little bit more and just consume a little bit more of it on a more like together basis. I'm also very tired, but tomorrow is Sunday and I think we're going to have the chillest of days. I think we need it. Just go to the supermarket, get things ready for next week, and clean up the house a little bit because I haven't done like any cleaning this week, so I need to swap the floors and clean the toilet and the bathroom and all that kind of fun stuff. So that will all happen tomorrow, and maybe we'll go to the park or something. It's supposed to be very nice weather next week, so we will see. But yeah, it's around 7. I'm going to sit down and see how far I go with this and just chill. I need to chill. Hello everyone. So it has been a couple of days. It's now Monday morning and I wanted to update you because I finished Rivers of London yesterday. I just had 40 pages left and read it throughout the day and finished it. And this one was okay. I think my main issue with it is that the pace was too fast. So there were a lot of interesting things about the world and about the characters, but we didn't get to explore them because we just had to go in the plot, and I was a lot less engaged in the plot because I didn't care about the characters because I didn't know them. So yeah, not my type of book. I think this is for someone, but I wanted more of the characters and more of the world and more of all of that, and I didn't get it. So this was okay for me. But with that said, I finished it, so it counts for the TBR prompt, and it also counts for. I was going to count it for vampire in the spooky creature square. Because in the synopsis it's mentioned vampires quite early on, so I thought they were going to play a decent role, but they were just mentioned once, and that was it. So I don't think that's enough to count it for vampires. The main magic thing that was happening here was wizards and spirits or ghosts, so I'm going to count it for ghosts in the spooky creatures. For the challenge, the TBR challenge itself, I'm going to unhold this so I don't have to put it in my shelves. So yeah, that's the second book done, and now we can go to the third one. So here we are again, picking another book from my shelves. There has been an addition, a very unexpected addition to my shelves right now, and that is World Breaking by Brandon Sanderson. I put a hold from the library for this sometime last year, and the person who had it was supposed to return it October last year, so I thought it was never gonna come, and then suddenly this week I got an email that I could pick it up. So very unexpectedly, this is in my shelf now, but we are going to generate a number and see what comes up. Not particularly excited to read that right now. It's quite big, just because of that. We'll see what comes up. 10. Oh no. The Will of the Many. I mean, I've heard amazing things about this, and it's supposed to be very good, but it's also 600 pages and the font is really small. So yeah, I guess this is happening. Not what I would have chosen myself, but I guess we are reading this now. Hello, so it is Tuesday night. I have been reading this for a couple of days and I'm about 250 pages in, and I am enjoying it. The characters especially are very captivating, and the story as well, the setting, all of that I'm really liking, and I really want to know what's going on next. But I have to say that the first few pages were like overly written, like to a crazy point, at which I was thinking I was not going to get along with this book because of that, but it calms down with the overwritten style, and now I am enjoying it. It's still flowery sometimes, but there's more dialogue and more there's no sentences that run for 5 lines anymore, which is nice. The other thing I'm not enjoying so much is also the Roman aspect of it, not because that's on me, that's not on the book, but it feels very military, and that makes sense. Romans were a very military society, but I'm just not enjoying that aspect as much. It's not my kind of thing, but other than that, I'm enjoying the story. So this story is about Viz, who is an orphan in an orphanage, and he's also having these like odd jobs. He fights for money and stuff like that. He's trying to make a run for himself, because they live in this world in which there is like the magic system is called the will. So basically it's like energy for people. The society is hierarchically organized. So the primus, which is like the highest level, gets will or energy from the ones below, and the ones below get energy from the ones below, and so forth until the octavi, which are the lowest class. So the octavi only give power, they don't receive any, or they only give will, they don't receive any, and so they are the weakest of them all because they don't have energy. They are described as small and not so strong, and so that also makes it almost impossible for them to go any further, basically. And this, our protagonist, he is living among a lot of octavi because they are orphans and they are often, that's how they work. And he's about to turn 17, which is when you are officially kind of expected to go into the will exchange will system, and so you're expected to give will if you haven't before for the first time. It's like the maximum age. So he's planning to run away so that he doesn't have to do that. He absolutely refuses to be part of that system, and we are given to understand that he comes from a different background that justifies why he doesn't want to do that. He's adopted by this guy that wants to enter him in an academy so that he can possibly find out a certain secret that the academy is trying to keep. And so I just got to the point he has been in the academy for a couple of days, and I am liking that part as well. But as I said, it's very military, so the academy, there's a lot of fighting. But I have to say, it seems to be less military and less strict than the training that his adoptive father actually prepared for him so that he could fit in the academy. So I'm actually interested to see more of the dynamics of how the academy actually works. And I'm really liking the pace of this. I think it gives enough pause to be able to process the story. But it's not slow or anything. So yes, I'm really enjoying this, and I think I'll probably have 2 or 3 days worth of reading left of this, so I'll update you probably when I finish it. Hello everyone. So it's way too late on Friday night, and I just finished The Will of the Many by James Heseltine, and I like this. I understand why it's so popular. I think the story and the characters are very gripping, and I think the pace was really good. The world, as I said, is not my favorite. It's a bit too violent, but I appreciate the commentary on class and on colonialism and stuff like that. I have to say also, I don't love books that finish on a cliffhanger. I think the author should be able to trust the readers more that a good world and a good character is going to grip them to come back, and we don't need this cliffhanger stuff to come back because we do love to spend time in that world and those characters, and I wish more authors recognize that. But other than that, I think it was good enough. I enjoyed it, and I will read the second one. I don't know if I will go any further than that, but I do want to read the second one. And with that said, this counted for the TBR game prompt and the series Stairways prompt. Putting this for a duology, and I'm aware that it is not supposed to be a duology at the end. But so far there is one book out. The second one is coming out in November, so unless a third one comes out, no one can disprove that this is a duology. So I'm going to use it for the duology prompt, and that's that. Also, I am shelving this for now. I think maybe I will unhaul it later if I don't enjoy the second book as much or something. I might unhaul it, but for now I think I'm gonna keep it. So we are going to shelve it now. Okay, so the way that my shelves work is randomly organized by country, but here this is kind of the Asia shelf, and up here I had some space, so I put the fantasies because I don't think the fantasies do fit within like a particular country, but I think it might fit here. But actually what I want to do is to move all of the fantasies down to the last shelf, because that's where I have my children's books and other stuff, books that are a bit too big to be anywhere else. And I think because a lot of the children's books I have are fantasy, they might fit better in there. So let's do that. So here is the space I have. I think it's plenty. Yes. So that is shelf now. So it is time to pick the fourth book. There has been a new edition again. How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu, which is my book club pick for September. So I would prefer not to read this right now because the book club is a couple of months away, but I did buy the book. But yeah, those are all the books that are here now. I will hope for something short after the Wheel of the Many. So we will see if the random number generator is kind to me now. 3. That is not kind to me. That is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, which I guess it's good because I need to read this. My library has this thing in summer that it expands the borrowing time from 3 to 6 weeks. But still, I have 6 weeks to read this, so I guess it's good that I'm gonna read it. But yeah, not exactly a short book. Hello everyone. So it's Saturday evening. It has only been one day, and I have been reading Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I'm in page 106, and I am unfortunately going to DNF this one. Unpopular opinion, I know, but I'm completely uninterested in this right now. The plot is very slow and not very interesting. The characters feel completely not two-dimensional. There are some tries at humor that just don't hit, and I'm just not interested. And I know that probably most people will say not to read this as your first Cosmere book, but I have seen a couple of people that think it's okay, so I decided to try here because my library had this one, and I'm not interested. So yeah, I think I'm going to just take the bookmark. Yeah, I mean, if I have other Brandon Sandersons in my TBR, and I will try them. So this is not the last one I'm gonna try. And if I get into it eventually, I can always pick this back up from the library. I have only read 100 pages, but I just refuse to slog myself through the 650 pages of this if I'm not enjoying it, especially when I have other things to read. So yeah, this is an on hold for sure, because I mean it was going to be anyway because from the library, but yeah, I'm not gonna read it fully. And according to the HRCYED challenge, you're not supposed to count DNFs on it, but because in Becca and the Books TBR game, she does count DNF'd books as part of like the books that she reads. I think I'm going to count this one still count this as my book 4, but I'm just not going to double up on anything else because I haven't read it. But on the spirit of what Becca does with her Shelve It or Scrap It, I think this still counts as book 4. And then we can go and pick our 5th book. So here we are in my TBR shelf again. There has been quite some change, so I have put these two aside because I want to use them for a different thing in September, so I'm not going to include them in the game right now, because if they come up, then I don't know what else to read for the other challenge, so we're just gonna put them here and ignore them. But I have also gotten quite a few books, so I have the books that devour my father by Alfonso Cruz. This is for book club for August, and it's very short, very very short, so I would love if this comes up. This is Dazzling by Chikodili Emelumadu. This is also for a book club in August, so again, very delighted if that comes up. And then I have The Nursery by Sylvia Molnar, which is about early motherhood and how difficult it is. I bought it basically for shipping cost reasons, but I'm excited to read it, so, and it's so short, so I again don't mind if it comes up. And then I have Treasure of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I hear this is very different from the other ones, and the Cosmere, again, Cosmere book, so we'll see if I like this. But this I bought because this fits on the quarterly recommendation thing, and I don't have many things in common with her, so this one was one of the few that I was interested in, and I'm still interested in. So yeah, there are 11 books in here now. The only one that I really don't want to read that right now is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, because I just read a book of his and I was not a fan, and also another chunky fantasy is not ideal, but now that I have said that, probably the random number generator will be that exactly. Okay, so let's generate 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, perfect. Yeah, so The Books That Devoured My Father by Alfonso Cruz. As I said, this is super short, the text is super big, so I might even finish this tonight, and it's for a book club this month, so this is perfect. I'm very happy. Okay, so it's about an hour later and I just finished The Books That Devoured My Father by Alfonso Cruz. This is like only 100 pages and it's very big font and very small chapters, so it is super quick to read. And this is about a boy called Elias, whose father kind of disappeared into books. He was a bookseller and he kind of disappeared into books. It's one of those books in which people can actually go inside the books. And he's kind of going from book to book trying to find his father. So it's basically like a love letter to books, particularly classical books. And he meets Mr. Hyde, he meets people from Dostoevsky, from Fahrenheit 451, all that kind of stuff, and we kind of jump around with that. At the beginning was whimsy and nice, and I was like, yeah, this is good. But he started being a complete ass, this boy. He was incredibly fat phobic to his friend. The ending was like, what? Why? Was it really necessary? Yeah, not a fan. So I'm going to unhold this. But I'm glad I read it for the book club. It's done, and I'm 5 books down for this challenge, so that's good. But yeah, not a fan of this. And I was thinking, so apart from the TBR game, which of course this counts for a TBR game, I was thinking to count it for the pet animal prompt, because there was a dog in the cover and I assumed that was going to be part of it, but it wasn't such a big thing. There were a lot of things in this book as well that like seemed like a big point when it was being made and then it was never mentioned again. Very weird. But yeah, I don't think there's enough of that dog to be a pet pick, so I'm going to pick it for the translation challenge for Portuguese. So that's where this is gonna go, and I think it's about 10 p.m. and I'm going to bed because I had a late night last night and I need to sleep. I was very tired today, but I want to pick up the next book before I go to sleep. I like to know what I'm gonna read tomorrow, so let's go do that. Okay, so same spot, same books as an hour ago. Let's generate the next one. 2. Oh yes, 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 yes. So the next book is Sweatband Based by Dorian Sukegawa, which is a book that I got from the library, as you can see, because I want to use this as my HRCYED2 prompt, which was I chose to do read a book and cook something from the book. This doesn't have actual recipes on it, but I saw in last year's challenge someone used this for that prompt, and it's called Sweet Bean Based. It's supposed to be a cozy thing with food in it, so that is the hope. And the hope is that I can find something to cook based on this book. And it's also very good because I could either do that this weekend or next week I have a day off, so that could also be a good idea to do then. But yeah, this is also very short, it's like 200 pages, and the font again is quite big, so yes, I'm happy with this. Hello everyone, I'm here because I'm reading Sweet Bean Based. It's Sunday, so it's just half a day after the last clip, and I'm 98 pages into it, and I'm enjoying it. It's a sweet story. It's about this man that works in a dorayaki shop, which is a pancake shop, like pancake filled with sweet bean paste. And he works alone and he's just like surviving, and then this lady comes in and she asks for a job, and she's quite old, she's in her 70s, and also she has like very crippled hands, so he says no a couple of times, but she keeps coming back, and then she gives him a container of sweet bean paste that she has made, and apparently it's amazing, and he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm going to hire you. And then so she starts working in the shop, and at the beginning the man is a bit reluctant to let her interact with the customers because she has the crippled hands and a bit of a paralyzed face, so he's scared that will impact the business badly, but she starts warming to other people, and he also starts warming to her, and the way that she makes the sweet bean paste is almost like a ritual of sorts, and so everything starts getting better. And then at the point where I'm at, there has been some issues with the owner that she doesn't agree for this woman to work on the shop, so she has left, and we'll see what happens next. I have also made dorayaki today. I haven't made the sweet bean paste because one, it seems a bit difficult to get like the specific beans that I would need, but also because I just don't overly enjoyed it when I have eaten it before, and it's very heavy, so I decided to use yam instead as a filling, which it is a thing. Like here they say it can have other fillings. I think the traditional one is sweet bean based, but you can have other things. So I've used yam because I had some yam left over, and that seemed a lot easier. And the pancakes turned out well. I also looked at it in the internet because it has a rough recipe here. It just says 1/3 of this, 1/3 of that, 1/3 of that, and then you have to be careful that they do this when they cook and stuff like that. So it kind of almost as a recipe in the narrative. But of course it has eggs, and I looked it up, and they said that if you substitute with banana it's usually okay, which it was for me. They looked and they tasted very good, very filling though, but very good. So yeah, I have 100 pages to go for this. I think I'm probably going to finish this tonight actually, which will be nice. And I'll update you when that happens. Hello everyone, so it's still Sunday, it's in the evening, and I just finished with Being Based by Durian Sukeragua. And this was fine. I found it quite predictable and not subtle at all with the messaging, but still heartwarming and nice to read. So yeah, this was fine by me. That means that I have completed not only the 6th book for the TBR challenge in game thing, but also the favorite HRCYED2 prompt, which was to read a book and cook a recipe from the book. And this kind of has a recipe. It says just cook 1/3 egg, 1/3 sugar, 1/3 flour, and then mix it and cook it. Which I didn't put the egg because I'm vegan, but I found a substitute in banana, and I kind of did that with a recipe I found online, and yeah, I completed that. So that means one more square done in the bingo board, and I am also going to not shelf this because it's a library book, so that would not be okay. So I don't have to go through the shelving process either. So the only thing we have left to do is to pick our next book, and I'm so happy we are in the 7th book, because when Warbreaker came out I thought I was going to be doing this challenge for the rest of my life, but we only have 3 books left, so let's pick up the next. Okay, so here we are back to the shelf. There are this time 9 books in it because we already read one. So let's go to the number generator, and now we generate 9. That will be Call Me Smile by Shallow View. So as far as I know, this is a retelling, a feminist retelling of Moby Dick, and I've read from Shallow View before, and I'm really excited to read again. I was kind of hoping at some point to read this for more than one prompt, but actually I think the other prompts I'm going to be able to cover, so I think I'm going to just use this for a retelling and this prompt, which will be fine. It's also one of the, I think the 2nd biggest book in my TBR, so the random number generator likes the big books, but the font is big, and like the pages are like very big for what it's inside, I think. So I don't feel that this is as intimidating as the chunky fantasies that I have been getting. It's gonna be fine. It's just a pain to carry around, but that's fine. Hello everyone, so it's Tuesday evening, and I wanted to update you in Call Me Smile because I'm about halfway through. I've been flying through this. I have read more than 100 pages already today, and it's only 9 p.m. So yeah, I have been really enjoying this. So this is basically about a girl from Kent who basically loses all her family, and she doesn't know what to do with herself, and she's always curious about sailing. So she goes to New York looking for this captain that she kind of fell in love with, and finds out that he was not there anymore. So she decides to go whaling instead. And yeah, it's kind of like, so far follows quite closely the story of Ishmael from Moby Dick, and they are chasing this like white whale as well, and the captain is obsessed with this white whale, but it has a little bit of a twist to it, because Ishmael is a woman that is pretending to be a boy, and also the captain, instead of Captain Ahab, is Captain Seneca, and he is black, so it has a little bit of commentary of that as well. And the point that I have just arrived, there something has happened that might reveal who she is. And I think from there it's probably going to take a little bit of a turn. Also, it's nice because it has actually a map, and you can see the way that the boat goes. And I don't think in the first Moby Dick it was very clear, they were just at sea, but here, like, you can see they go to Cape Verde, and now they're going to Cape Town and then the Indian Ocean. So there's also like descriptions of the different cultures that they encounter on the way, which is very interesting. Another thing I've been liking is that it has very short chapters. Well, the chapters are like 20 pages, but then there's like the sub-chapters that are like a couple of pages. Yeah, which has been making the book feel really fast. And I am already 224 pages in. I think I might reach the 300 point today, and I'm definitely finishing this tomorrow. Also because tomorrow I am off from work. It's a Wednesday, which normally I work, but tomorrow I took the day off because I have, it's not a job interview, but I'm going with another friend from work to visit a company that is looking for people. So it's more of a kind of guessing each other and see if we are mutually interested sort of in stuff, rather than like just an interview of questions and you're like the candidate kind of setup. But it's going to be interesting. So I took the day off for that, and then it turned out that the meeting is at 3. So I have the whole morning. I didn't have to take a day off basically, but I did, so I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. I do want to do a lot of things. I want to clean the house properly, because it never is the case that I'm alone at home without Alex, and there are a lot of things that are a lot harder to do with Alex around. So I'm going to do all of those things tomorrow. I'm gonna cut the grass, I'm going to vacuum, I'm going to clean the windows, those kinds of stuff. Very fun stuff. But I really am looking forward to doing that. And also the other thing I have to do in the morning. This morning I got a puncture while I was biking to work, so I had to leave my bike in a middle village town, in between where I live and work, and my bike's still there. So I have to go and pick it up and fix it basically. It's just a normal puncture, but I didn't have the tools or the time to fix it, and bringing it here is kind of difficult because walking is more than an hour, but the public transport doesn't allow bikes, especially in peak hours. And also if I want to take at least the train, it's one stop and it's €8 extra for one stop, like 3 minutes in the train. So I didn't want to do that. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to go there tomorrow with the tools, fix it there, and then I can bike back. See if that works. But yeah, that's the plan. So I have to do that, and I have to clean the house. So I do have things to do. I also wanted to pass by the library. But yeah, I'm off, so inevitably there will be a little bit more time for me to finish this off. Hello everyone, I'm here because I finished Call Me Ismail by Sherlock Guo, and I really enjoyed this. And this was fairly straightforward retelling of Moby Dick, but Ismail, which is this young sailor, is actually Ismael, which is a girl. She makes herself pass as a man. So it's a mix between Moby Dick and Mulan, kind of. And it was at points some beautiful writing. It was interesting. It has some good points to make. I just wish it was a little bit deeper in any of those aspects. It was pretty straightforward, surface level retelling of Moby Dick from the point of view of this girl that makes herself pass as a boy, which is enjoyable, but it was not the deepest book I've ever read, and not every book has to be the deepest book that I have ever read. But yeah, that was it was nice. It was nice and I enjoyed it. And this does count for the TBR challenge and also for the adaptation, as this is an adaptation of a classical book. I think I could also count it for gender fluid if I wanted to, because the girl makes herself pass as a boy, but there's also conversations about her not really feeling like a girl, or like feeling like she could be both. And once it is discovered that she is a girl, there are some people in the boat that still call her by her boy name. So it's very fluid in the gender dynamics, because it's not only that she became a boy out of necessity, it's also that she actually kind of felt that way a little bit. So it could have counted for gender fluid, but I decided not to count it for it, even though there are less books, I think, that would be fitting on that. The books that I have down for that appeal to me more than the books that the alternatives for me to read as a adaptation of a classical book. So I'm going to count this as a classical book adaptation. And this, for now at least, is going to be a shelf. So let's go do that. Okay, so I actually have another Shallow Guo, which is here. Once Upon a Time in the East, which I really enjoyed. But this is her memoir, so it's non-fiction. So this is the non-fiction shelves, which means we cannot put it there. This is, so she's Chinese, so I in principle I would put it in my Asian side of the thing, although it's about a girl that is British working on an American ship. But they do have, they do spend a significant time at the end in Asia, and there is like a lot of things like this. Can you see that? Yeah, so I think it still counts as Asian enough to put it in the Asian shelves. So they are also roughly organized as more like East Asia, and then here's like Georgia and Turkey and stuff like that. So I'm going to put it here. I think that's a good place for it. And yeah, that's its shelf. And now let's pick the next one. Okay, so here we are choosing our next book. We do have 8 books in the shelf now, so I'm going to put 8 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Nursery by Sylvia Molnar, so one of the new ones. I'm not mad at this. It's not one that I was planning to read anytime soon, but at the same time it's less than 200 pages, so not mad at this. I'm interested to see what I think about it. Hello everyone. So it's Thursday morning, and yesterday I did read some of this. I'm now in page 84, so almost halfway, and I am enjoying it. So this is about basically the thoughts of this woman that has just had a baby and she's struggling a lot. I think a lot of the things that she talks about are fairly relatable. Like, motherhood is hard, especially early motherhood. But she goes a little bit further. Sometimes she wants to throw the baby out the window and stuff like that, which is still like not. It doesn't make her a horrible person. It just makes her a desperate person. Let's just say that, and that's part of the postpartum depression side of things. So yeah, I like it. I think it's very well written. It's written in a way that it's very good at portraying the way that early motherhood feels. Makes you feel small and makes you feel trapped, and the oppressive nature of it, but also the repetitive and boring side of it. It's a bit repetitive, this book, but it's intentional, I think. So yeah, I'm liking it. I'm not sure like the reading experience is the nicest, just because it is not a nice thing to feel, but it's doing its job very well. So I am enjoying it. As I said, today is Thursday, and the weather is decent, and I think it's going to be one of the last days that it feels like really summer. So I think we're gonna go to the beach. So I'll probably finish this today at some point, because I don't have a lot of plans other than just lounge on the beach. So yes, that's the plan. Excited about it. And yeah, it is the 8th book, so that means we are almost done. Hello. So it's time for me to update you on the nursery by Sylvia Molnar, which I have just finished, and this was good. I think it was a good representation of early motherhood for whoever needs it. I think it's not obviously a universal experience, but some of the things that she talks about, like feeling trapped in your own apartment and in your own life, and not being able to explain to people how it feels when you're completely dependent on this like little blob of a person for everything, and you cannot leave them, but also when you leave them, how guilty that makes you feel, and like you have been removed an appendix or something. I think all of that was very relevant and very well explained here, and I liked the book. I think it was good. Somehow I felt like I was left wanting a bit more of it. I don't know exactly what, but yeah, I felt like I needed a bit more for it to be like really impactful for me, but I still liked it. I think it was well done, and I think it's very useful for whoever needs it. Also, I'm counting this obviously for the TBR challenge, but also for the autofiction subgenre prompt, because this is semi-autobiographical. For now it's going to be a shelf. This is one of those that I might unhaul sometime in the future. I was in the beach with it and it was super windy, so there was a lot of sand that came into the edges of the book, so it doesn't lie flat anymore, because there's a lot of sand in this area of it. But yeah, it was good enough that I'm going to go and shelve it. So now we have the question of where to shelve it, because so here is where I have my American books, and here is where I have my European books. my European books are quite tight, so ideally I will put this on the American ones because it's set in New York, but the author is Hungarian and she grew up in Sweden, so I think it fits better up there. So let me check what can I do for it. Okay, so I managed to shelve it here next to Soldier Sailor by Claire Kilroy, which I think is very apt, and the only thing is that I do now have to unhaul Little Dancer age 14. So yeah, this was good, but it was not amazing, so I'm not feeling too fast about unhauling. So it's the last time to choose a book. There are 7 books left in here, and I'm very excited that this is done, not because I didn't enjoy the books, but just because I cannot imagine people that do this every month not being able to know what they're gonna read next, or they might need to read next. I'm very much a planner. I want to have my books that I know that I'm gonna read. 1. Travels with My Aunt by Graham Greene. This is good because this is from the library, and it's also the book that I wanted to read for the Buzzwordathon. So yes, I need to read this soon anyway, so very excited that this came up. Hello everyone, so it's Saturday afternoon and I'm here to update you on Travels with My Aunt by Graham Greene. I'm in page 122, so pretty much halfway, and it's fine. It's I feel it's very dated. It feels like it could be a movie, one of those like old funny movies. There's nothing offensive in it, but there's also nothing amazing on it so far. I'm finding this okay, but I have a bit more than 100 pages left, so I'm hoping to finish this tonight. We'll see if that happens or it happens tomorrow, but I will finish it either way. Hello everyone, so it's Saturday night, I'm about to go to bed, but I wanted to update you because I did finish Travels with My Aunt by Graham Greene, and this was very flat for me. So it follows this man that we meet him at the funeral of his mother at the beginning, and he meets this aunt and she tells him some things about his family that he didn't know, and from that they decide to go on these travels together, but the travels felt very pointless at times, and the places they visited were not description of any of them at all, basically. There was no atmosphere in this book, which I would have expected it to make a big difference in something like this, but there was no atmosphere that was captivating, at least for me, and it just felt kind of pointless, to be honest. I don't think it's badly written in sentence to sentence level, but it was just nothing special for me. But yeah, I finished it, so that means the TBR challenge is finished. And I also am going to use this for the adaptation prompt. This was made into a movie that is, I think, fairly famous, but most importantly, someone made a play out of it as well, and I'm going to count it for the play. So yeah, that is done. 2 more squares done in the board, which is very good news, and there's still a week left of this month, so I could continue updating you about the books I read throughout the next week, but I think it makes more sense for me to just focus on the 2 prompts that I'm tackling every month, and then the other books I will just put for prompts and I will talk about them when I get to the prompts that they are completing. So I think that's how I'm going to do it for this month. Let me know if you think that's a good idea or not. But yeah, for now I have completed 4 prompts in total so far, and I'm hoping that it's going well. There's also quite a few other squares that are quite advanced, which is nice to see. One of them is the series Stairways, which I have made quite a lot of progress lately, and makes me feel good, because even though it's not the one that has the most books to read, it's the one with the more specific books to read, and also like series to me means fantasy, and fantasy tends to be chunky, so they are 10 chunky books, and I have completed 5 of them, so that makes me happy. And yes, I'm excited for what next month has in store, and I hope you are too. And until next video, bye.